On a soggy Saturday morning in Aggieland, we're ready for SEC football. Today, the Gamecocks make their first ever visit to Kyle Field to take on Texas A&M. This is SEC Network Football, presented by Allstate. Welcome, everybody. Tom Hart alongside Heisman winner Andre Ware. It's deja vu all over again for Texas A&M. Just like last year, 5-0 start. Offensive issues, a change at quarterback again this season. But today, it's Kyler Murray, the talented freshman, who gets his first start.
Yeah, and a guy that is just flat out dynamic, that can make plays with his legs, with his arm. We got a chance to see him in practice. He can get outside the pocket and put a lot of pressure on the defense. John Hoke's going to have his hands full trying to keep him contained today. But when you do, he's so accurate as a passer. He can drop it in, change speeds, put some velocity on it. He is going to be fun to watch this afternoon.
South Carolina is going through a season of change of their own. As you look at the numbers for Murray in limited time, they have a new head coach. That's right, head ball coach stepped down a few weeks ago, and Sean Elliott got a win in his first ever game as the interim head coach at South Carolina. He grew up a Carolina fan from Camden, South Carolina, and now holds his dream job. Will his passion and fire be enough to get this South Carolina offense going? Landon Ard will handle the kickoff duties.
Certainly was a couple of weeks ago against Vanderbilt. Got a win. He's undefeated as a head coach, interim head coach.
Kirk and Harvey deep. No chance for a return. For more on this quarterback situation for Texas A&M, let's go down to the field and say good morning to Laurel Rutledge.
Tom, offensive coordinator Jake Spavital said Kyler Murray was calm and focused this morning, but he knows his quarterback is feeling pressure to deliver a big performance today. He said he feels like the early start actually helps Murray because he doesn't have as much time to think about it. It's just get up and go. They've made it very clear to Murray that he doesn't have a short leash. They will live with his mistakes, and they're banking on that dynamic playmaking ability with his feet.
All right, Laura, thanks. So, Andre, let me ask you, how do you make a freshman quarterback comfortable?
You make him comfortable, hand it off here to Trey Carson. Look for a handoff to him, trying to get his footing, get him integrated into this game slowly.
Out of the shotgun, they do just that. Carson has some room on the left side. It's a pickup of 4. Here are the starters for Texas A&M on the offensive side of the ball. Highlighted, of course, by Kyler Murray, but then Carson and Josh Reynolds.
Yeah, Josh Reynolds needs to get going. A little slow last week. Carson will carry the load. Look here, Tom, for a quarterback draw. He loves to run the football. Well, maybe the quarterback draw in this instance.
Indeed, that's what it is. And Murray's got a first down. And he will slide to a stop on the wet turf. 14-yard gain on the first takeoff for the freshman from Allen, Texas.
Yeah, he's so dynamic with his legs. And how do you get him settled into a big game like this? Easy handoff. What he likes to do, run the football with him. Now go into the offense.
So the running game on point to start this one for Texas A&M, and back to Trey Carson, pass midfield as they slice up a South Carolina defense, which is 101st in the country against the rush. We take a look at their starters.
Yeah, Sky Moore going to have his hands full today. He's their best defensive player in the middle of that defense, and then Marquavius Lewis, arguably their best pass rusher.
To the slant and a leaping grab, first down, a little bit more. Reynolds broke free for a moment. He picks up 13, and this Aggie offense humming early as they go with tempo.
And Josh Reynolds, only 3 receptions last week against Ole Miss, only 19 yards, looking to kind of get his ship righted, and Kyler Murray able to find him early.
Little misdirection on the handoff, back to Carson once again. Tempo is a key word used by both Jake Spavital and Kevin Sumlin yesterday. In fact, Sumlin's comment was, we need to get back to who we are. He said that's a lot of the run game and a lot of tempo.
Yeah, a lot of call it and haul it, especially with Kyler Murray under center. There'll be a lot of calls, not a lot of audibling or changing of plays at the line of scrimmage. He's still a little bit green in that area, so once they call it, they're just going to try to execute.
Murray takes off again. He's got room, and he's shifty inside the 20, down at the 15. Another first down run. That one covered 14 yards.
Yeah, I think he's more developed at this point in his career than Johnny Manziel. And a lot of coaches don't like doing, comparing players, but he's an excellent passer. He's more of a dynamic type of runner than even Manziel was.
They'll empty the backfield as Carson goes out left. Look there, come back right to the slant. And it's dropped incomplete, trying to find Edward Pope.
He showed some maturity there, looking left, trying to look the coverage off, and then coming back to his right. Reynolds and unable to complete it. First incompletion of the day, but boy, does he look poised and settling in nicely here early for A&M.
By the way, don't adjust your sets. May look like black and white. Texas A&M in the all black, South Carolina in the all white today. Second time they've gone all black in recent memory. Johnny Manziel and the crew wore him at Mississippi State a few years ago and found a win.
And this is just what John Hoke wanted to have happen. Bend but don't break. Execute on first down was one of the keys to this game, and then get him in a manageable situation defensively where if he wants to, he could get aggressive here on this down and distance of about 3rd and 6, 3rd and medium.
9th play of the opening drive. First time A&M has faced a 3rd down. Murray has room to scramble. He'll do that, but then gets popped by Sky Moore and company.
I think they go for it here. A lot of momentum early. Kevin Sumlin not really going to flinch. He's got big Trey Carson. Try a field goal here. I'm surprised with the execution, the way they're winning at the line of scrimmage, especially early. You almost break the will of South Carolina if you are able to pick up this short 4th down.
Chip shot attempt for Taylor Bertolette, the senior from Reading, PA, from 25 yards out. Wow, he pushed it right, and A&M misses out a golden opportunity. Momentum to South Carolina.
Next time they're in that situation, he'll probably go for it. I mean, it's 2nd and short, and he just pushes this baby. Snap's good, maybe a little bit high, but they're able to spin it, get the laces away, and it just drifts just right of the goalpost.
So that's a 10-play, 68-yard drive with nothing to show for it, especially after Kyler Murray was able to move the offense in the open field. That 3rd down, by the way, was the first time they really didn't go tempo, which is what we expect on 3rd and 6. The coaches want to be able to help Murray in those middle distance downs.
That's a good point. Just taking care of him and allowing him to helping him to manage the game.
Perry Orth, the starting quarterback for South Carolina. They've had their issues at that position all season, and he hands off to David Williams, who takes it forward for 5. Myles Garrett the stop. Here are the starters for the Gamecocks.
Yeah, Brandon Wiles, a big-time running back who's been nursing some ribs. There, he's back in the game. Played well against Vanderbilt, going for 119 yards. And then the playmaker, maybe the best player on the field right now for South Carolina, Pharoh Cooper.
Williams again. That time he picks up just 1. A&M has struggled against the run this season, 101st in the country as we see their defensive starters.
Well, they can certainly get after you in the pass rush with 2 excellent edge rushers in Deshaun Day Hall and Myles Garrett, 2 of the best in the entire country, maybe the best combination of defensive ends in the country.
They've got a tight end, Jarrell Adams, helping out with Garrett in this formation. 3rd and 4. Garrett, number 15, bottom of the screen, right on the logo. Here he comes. Orth steps up, got stripped and dropped, able to recover it, I think.
They're still fighting for it. There's a scrum. It looked like Perry Orth actually got the ball, and they do indeed rule it 4th down.
Julian Obioha forced the fumble.
You see him here just coming from inside 95, is able to just get inside, has to step up because of the edge rushers and Hall and Garrett, and then Obioha doing his job inside, pushing the pocket, and able to get a hand on the football.
Beware of trick plays all day long from South Carolina. Wide splits on the punt team. Speedy Noyle back healthy. He's 100%. Won't have a chance at a return here across the soggy turf. They will be down by South Carolina after a 54-yard punt. 3 and out for the Gamecocks. Roller coaster season here in Aggieland for Texas A&M. They started 5-0, one of the best teams in the country. Got off to a great start with a win against Arizona State. Freshman Christian Kirk's coming out party. En route to this 5-0 start, wins against Ball State, Nevada, overtime against Arkansas and Mississippi State. Then they ran into trouble against Alabama, 3 pick sixes. Everybody struggles against Bama, but the quarterback position coming under extra scrutiny after Kyle Allen was ineffective. and threw 3 scores for the other team. And then against Ole Miss, they couldn't do anything offensively. First 5 games, 39 points a game. The last 2, 13. And Kyle Allen, the sophomore from Scottsdale, Arizona, went from the best quarterback rating in the SEC to one of the least productive quarterbacks in the entire country. That, along with what we believe to be an injury to Allen's shoulder, necessitated a change in Kyler Murray with the opportunity.
Yeah, I just don't think he's healthy. You know, the coaching staff, they wouldn't quite confirm it, but they did tell us he was getting treatment on his shoulder. They asked him, are you 100%? He says yes, but he's in the training room getting treatment on his shoulder. That doesn't spell a quarterback that's completely healthy.
Another slide for Murray, the former baseball star, and it's got to be tough, Andre, as a quarterback, and both of them have been through it, to watch a guy run the offense when you think you should be in control. We compared it yesterday at practice to going in a restaurant and seeing your ex-girlfriend on a date with somebody else.
I mean, they were both all everything coming out of high school, Gatorade Players of the Year in their respective states. You know, Kyler Murray never lost a high school football game, 3 consecutive state championships. Kyle Allen, I mean, he was decorated coming out of high school in Arizona as well. Desert Mountain High School at Scottsdale.
They're down 2 for A&M. Murray pulled it back, scrambled for a first down, and goes down. The design today within the game plan called for 10 quarterback runs for Murray, another 5 off the zone read.
And here's the zone read where it looks like a little bit of a mix-up. Trey Carson looks like he wanted to keep it, but Murray, being the explosive player he is, it's broken. He can fix it.
5 carries, 46 yards early for Murray. Here's Trey Carson. Gain of 3 this time. Kyler Murray was a Gatorade National Player of the Year at Allen High School, 42-0, as you mentioned, 3 state championships. More than 14,000 total yards and 186 touchdowns.
That's getting it done right there.
He's the first player ever to play in the Under Armour All-America game, both football and baseball. And he would have been a high draft pick had he not opted out of this past June's MLB draft. Murray throws to the slant. He had 2 receivers there. Ricky Seals-Jones comes up with it and then making some moves. Oh, he's still free. They can't bring him down. Finally at the 30. It's a gain of 25.
He wins with the placement of this ball. It's thrown behind. If it's thrown out in front, TJ Holloman has a chance to make it, but the throw wins, and it allows Ricky Seals-Jones to continue after the catch.
Now they pop it out to Christian Kirk, the talented freshman, forced out of bounds at the 20. That's a gain of 11. Here's the tempo.
And when you're having success, you can tempo. You don't have to call everything in the huddle, break the huddle, get methodical on offense. You can speed things up, and he's comfortable doing it. This is an offense that's very much like what he executed in high school.
He'll take off. Spins for a moment. No gain.
Well, talking to John Hoke, the defensive coordinator this week for South Carolina, they knew they expected Murray to play, knows how dynamic he is. They got to play bend but don't break, and they have to tackle well in space because he's going to put pressure on the edges. Quarterback draws, they're leaving the middle of the field open, 4-2 fronts. It's basically calling for it.
To the ground game, and James White. White takes it nearly to the 10, a gain of 7. TJ Holloman with the stop for South Carolina.
Yeah, they're glad to have James White back. He's been banged up the past couple of weeks, finally healthy again. Not quite the receiver out of the backfield that Carson is, but boy, is he a load. 6 foot, 220 pounds.
Eight plays into this drive. They missed a chip shot field goal on their first possession. Murray in zone. Got him. Touchdown. Josh Reynolds. A 10-yard strike off the play action.
He made it look easy. Just the play fake's going to hold the linebackers. You see Sky Moore take 1 step up. That allowed for Josh Reynolds to get behind him in the back of the end zone. What touch by Murray.
That touchdown catch, Josh Reynolds now tied for top 5 in school history with the great Mike Evans. It's his 4th of this season, and it caps a 9-play, 74-yard scoring drive. Bertolette's able to fit the extra point through. Second possession for Texas A&M today. Second possession as a starter for Kyler Murray. And his second touchdown pass, hooking up with Josh Reynolds to put the Aggies on the board here in the first.
SEC Network Football is presented by Allstate, proud supporters of college football. Are you in good hands? And in part by Ballpark Flame Grilled Jerky. Dried to be tough, flame grilled to be tender.
It's the 5th largest haunted trail in the state of Texas. The guys from Kappa Sigma put it on. This is the 20th anniversary of Wicked Woods. And we have our post-game plans. Proceeds go to the Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund, and donated canned goods go to the Brazos Valley Food Bank. So all for a good cause. Out of the back of the end zone, let's go back to that Texas A&M touchdown.
Yeah, it's the read is Sky Moore, the linebacker, right here. Watch him. He's going to take just a step up, and that's going to allow for an area right in here for Kyler Murray. He's supposed to get back to the area inside, help defend against the slant. The play fake is what holds him right there to James White. Allows Sky Moore, forces Sky Moore to take one step up. When he does, it's a nice touch pass over the top. Very easy for Josh Reynolds to bring in.
Second possession for Perry Orth and South Carolina. They see a few different looks for South Carolina on offense, and that's complete. Finding his man Pharoh Cooper. Gain of 11. Justin Evans with the stop.
Yeah, they just haven't gotten the ball enough to Pharoh Cooper. And here to Kyler Murray, the first touchdown in the first half since October 3rd against Mississippi State. They've had a long drought in the first quarter, or in the first half of games.
Brandon Wild shifts spots next to Orth. Here comes pressure from the edge. Nobody was there. Orth has to take off, and he loses a yard. Miscommunication even well before the snap.
Yeah, it looked like there was a mix-up between Orth and Brandon Wiles on just even where to line up. Orth 52% on the season. I'd love to have that touchdown to interception ratio all more in the left column with more touchdown passes, less interceptions.
Well, my walk-on got his first start against Georgia early in the year, and that's a pretty pass as he hooks up with Shamir Jeffrey for a gain of 8.
Nice ball there. You can roll in the pocket, trying to get away from pressure. Those two defensive ends in Hall and Garrett. They roll to the wide side, and a nice job of throwing that one on the run.
There's Garrett. 8.5 sacks this season. He rewrote the SEC record book, broke Jadeveon Clowney's record last season. Here he comes, nearly got to Orth, and the slant is there. Wow, Cooper holds on. First down, South Carolina.
A big-time hit on the back end. One of the safeties, I think it may have been Justin Evans, and he will hit you. You got to be a little careful going a little high there, but he is a guy that will come up, junior college player who's very physical on the back end.
Here's Cooper lined up in the backfield, his first carry, and he gets wrestled out of bounds, maybe picked up one. Justin Evans was there. It's almost a dead giveaway. If you see Pharoh Cooper in the backfield, they're going to have a counter off.
Yeah, they want to get him the football. They felt like the last couple of weeks he hadn't touched it enough. Now, 7 catches, 160 yards in their last ball game. Some would think that's enough, but they want to get him involved, not only catching the ball, but running it. And he's a former high school quarterback. They can put him back there and he'll throw passes. He's thrown for touchdowns as well while at Carolina.
Perry Orth setting up the screen. He finds David Williams, and he's got some room to maneuver. Williams picks up a first down, a gain of 19 into Aggie territory.
Well, that's an excellent play call. When you get an aggressive defense with two defensive ends that can get up the field in Garrett and Hall, a couple of ways to beat them: the draw play and the screen.
Back to Williams, sophomore from Philadelphia, gain of 1. Alonzo Williams with the stop for Texas A&M.
Well, this is a nice answer drive by South Carolina to go right down the field and keep a hot offense on the sideline. And then you're able, at the end of this, you want to put big points on the board. You'll be able to get some points here to answer Texas A&M's drive.
And Sean Elliott took over as the head coach. He handed play calling duties to G.A. Mangus full time. Mangus had been working as a play caller earlier. Yeah, we got movement up front.
That's a false start on Mason Zandy, the right tackle.
False start. Offense, number 74. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Yeah, he's hard to miss, Tom. One of the tallest players ever to play at South Carolina at 6'9", a versatile guy that can play also over at left tackle. Missed the spring. You see him there, number 74 with a flinch. Missed the spring with a hamstring injury, but big player for Carolina.
Second and 14. They pick up Garrett. Strong throw, leaping grab. Great hands by DJ Neal. Gain of 15.
How about the pickup block by David Williams? Watch the end of this and going up making a nice play at the end of this. Number 3, DJ Neal, the true freshman. But it was the block of David Williams that gave Perry Orth time to complete that pass.
Yeah, everybody's going to have to help on guys like Myles Garrett and Deshaun Hall today. Little look for David Williams, and he takes it inside the 10. Knocked down by Donovan Wilson, a gain of 13. Texas A&M has been pitiful against the run this season. 101st in the nation. They allowed 200 yards a game on the ground. 10th play of the drive. Williams again. And he gets spun around, a gain of 2. Zakoven Henderson with the stop.
Yeah, Henderson inside provides excellent depth for A&M when Alonzo Williams, he's banged up a little bit at this point in the season. Or Obioha, he comes out. They go in with Henderson. We got a true freshman, Dalen Mack, a 5-star player out of high school that's pretty salty himself.
They've got Lorenzo Nunez, the quarterback, split out to the bottom of the screen, right outside the 10-yard line. They go, and Nunez to throw if he wants. He's got blockers. Red zone issues solved for South Carolina. 7-yard touchdown run on the reverse to Nunez.
I tell you what, they bring him around and give him the run-pass option. He's a tremendous runner. Spread option quarterback in high school. And the smart thing is not to force the football into coverage. He saw a running lane and decided to keep it.
An 11-play, 75-yard scoring drive, and we are tied late in the first quarter. The emotion is there. First, the game plan. This one won on the grease board when they tried to solve the red zone woes. Sean Elliott said, yes, South Carolina is in Aggie land. We saw some of the fire and passion from South Carolina's interim head coach, Sean Elliott.
That's organized chaos. Pure organized chaos.
And it gets us pumped, it gets us hyped. You can see it in his eyes. I mean, he has fire, and it just gets you fired up.
See the head man get in there and busting his knuckles up, bleeding a little bit. It makes you really want to play for a coach like that.
I challenge you, I challenge us to step to the plate and make this the time of our life. The time of our life. The time of our life.
We joked as an offensive line, we're like, we've been dealing with this guy for 4 years. And they're about to find out what the real deal is.
I was an intense guy, and I loved trying to instill my force over an opponent. That's what I always wanted to do.
Sean Elliott was named the interim head coach at South Carolina on October 13th. And he just had a chance at share his passion with more of the team when he got the promotion.
Gives you goosebumps. Makes you want to put a mouthpiece and a helmet and go play, man. I'll tell you what, guys will run through a wall for a coach like that that can push your buttons, get you going. And what a drive, what an answer to A&M's drive.
No return for Speedy Noyle. The passion on display now in this stadium. Same passion that his guys see every day in the practice field. He's shoving coaches out of the way. You saw him in the ring with his offensive line before the Vandy game.
Got to get that fist pump in. And I keep harping on that drive because it doesn't allow Kyler Murray to think this is going to be easy all day. You got to play a football game. This is 60 minutes. You go down, you go 3 and out, and then all of a sudden A&M's right back in your face. It's an easy day for Kyler Murray. But when you score and you put points, especially what I refer to as the big points on the board, now it forces a little bit, there's a little bit of pressure on A&M's offense.
Kyler Murray already has 6 carries, averaging nearly 8 yards a carry here in the first quarter. He'll take off again. And this has got to be kind of a concern. He lost his helmet. He's going to have to come out of the game. Got to be some sort of a concern for Jake Spavital to manage his carry and uses.
Yeah, you don't want to run him too much and then subject him to injury. I mean, he's a true freshman, a young guy, and Jake Hubenek, who had an outstanding year last year at Glenn Junior College in his own right, very familiar with this offense and has a total confidence of this coaching staff. He's in the ball game now.
He ran it as a walk-on at Oklahoma State for Jake Spavital, and he hands it off for a gain of 4 to Trey Carson. And Hubenek will come off.
That's why I think there's something with Kyle Allen in terms of that shoulder, because you don't go from starting the amount of games he has from first to third. I mean, that's almost unheard of in today's game. So you don't get beaten out by 2 guys where you're not playing at all.
12 career starts for Kyle Allen. He's 8-4 as a starter, but lost the last 2. Now 3rd down and 6. This is where, as we said before, they want to give Kyler Murray some help and
showing some pressure.
They back off. Option look. Carson's got some room. He's got the first down and a stiff arm to boot. To gain of 10.
Yeah, that's where you look to the sideline, get some help from Jake Spavital, saw the pressure inside in the A gaps, and then he decides, hey, you're going to go inside, we're going to run the option and take it to the edge. Pin you inside and just let Kyler Murray work with Trey Carson. Perfect play call.
Carson already has 41 yards this quarter. Pressure coming from linebackers. Carson runs right by him. Tripped up by the safety, DJ Smith. 16-yard gain.
And South Carolina slanting their way out of this.
Yeah.
They slant to the left and just leave a big gaping hole to the right of the defense. The offense is left. They did the same thing on first down with a Kyler Murray run, just slanting themselves out of position.
A&M knows those struggles well. Their run fits were off all last week against Ole Miss. First quarter comes to an end. Didn't get the snap off. We'll turn it around. Come back. Oh, we got a flag.
Yeah, Ricky Seals-Jones. I mean, a little extra and just so unnecessary. It cost your team 15 yards.
After the play, a sportsmanlike conduct foul. Offense, number 9. 15-yard penalty. That's number 9's first unsportsmanlike conduct foul. That is the end of the first quarter.
If Ricky Seals-Jones gets flagged again for that, he'd be ejected.
Yeah, so unnecessary. I mean, we're getting ready to go to the second quarter. Play doesn't even get started. Watch the top of your screen right up here. Just keep an eye on it right there. And you're the one, you're going to throw the second one. You throw a second and a third, and that's when the official steps in and he sees that part of it.
So a little bit of drama to close the first quarter. Freshman quarterback Kyler Murray will be looking at a 1st and 25. South Carolina's first trip to Kyle Field. They can't argue with the first quarter. We're still dead even here in Aggie Land. Well, that answers that question. We're tied at 7, and we're lucky to be dry today on this Halloween Saturday. A lot of the bad weather that came through Texas missed College Station despite some rumbles and some lightning. Flooding in Austin, tornadoes in Houston this morning. And A&M's offense unmitigated by the soggy turf today. 113 rushing yards in the first quarter. They only had 90 combined in the previous 2 games.
Yeah, all players that have carried the football. Trey Carson, Kyler Murray, James White, all averaging over 6 yards per carry. Outstanding running the football, rushing it for Texas A&M.
After that penalty by Ricky Seals-Jones, Texas A&M faces a 1st and 25. James White is the tailback next to Kyler Murray. Murray will take off once again, trying to find the edge. I kind of brought this up a moment ago, Andre, before we went to break. So how do you really game plan to try and save Kyler Murray, save his legs, and save him from taking too many hits?
Well, I think you allow him to be himself, but then you got Trey Carson back there, James White. I just mentioned it. Both guys averaging over 6 yards a carry. Put a lot of that weight and burden on them to basically alleviate a lot of the pressure. Then you don't get him hurt as well.
Already 8 carries for Murray, and he floats one complete to Christian Kirk. Tackle made by Sky Moore after a gain of 4.
He has tremendous touch. He's not a big guy, which is why I'm kind of surprised that John Hoke, the defensive coordinator for South Carolina, is doing a lot of slanting, because you're opening up areas of the field where he can take off and be dynamic. Force him. Now, they list him at 5'11". I don't believe that, but force him to work from the pocket. Don't allow him to get outside. That's when he puts pressure on your defense.
Big down for the Gamecocks here. 3rd and 20. Can they hold up? Murray checks it underneath to Kirk, and it's dropped. And South Carolina, with the benefit of the personal foul penalty, will force a punt from Texas A&M.
Yeah, I like the thought process by the young quarterback, though. You're not going to force it down the field into coverage and maybe come up with a turnover when you're trying to force it. Allow a guy like Christian Kirk to catch it on the move, and maybe he can run for the first down for you.
There's a guy who can run, waiting for this punt, Farrell Cooper. Drew Kaiser with a high one. Cooper watches it take a big hop and across the sideline. Marked out at the 12. Celebrating its 11th year, sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets, All-State makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kicked. Since 2005, All-State has donated millions in scholarship funds. Impressive drive last time South Carolina had the ball.
Yeah, you got 2 really good bookends. How do you give your quarterback some time? Well, watch David Williams chip and helping out on Myles Garrett. That gives Perry Orth the time to find DJ Neal, the true freshman. Then David Williams comes back, does some work of his own on the ground. A little handoff, reverse passing, and Nunez decides to keep it. That got South Carolina into the end zone and on the scoreboard.
I know that was a chip, but it looked more like a chunk.
You could hear the block.
Brandon Wilds takes it right side for a pair. First carry for Wilds today, the senior from Blythewood, South Carolina.
He stepped on the scene a few years ago when, as a true freshman, when Marcus Lattimore went down with a knee injury. Had a nice finish to that year. He's been battling injuries, ankle injuries, ribs, as I mentioned earlier, but he's got breakaway speed to hit the home run for South Carolina if he gets loose.
Second game back from that rib injury. On play action, Orth will turn his back to the line. Off the hands of Cooper, and incomplete.
You don't see Cooper do that often. And how about the confidence of Perry Orth to try to fit this one in over the linebackers? This is a well-thrown football, right on the shoulder of Farrell Cooper.
It's almost like Cooper was expecting that ball to be tipped, or maybe it was just redirected a little bit by Armani Watts.
I think Watts, you're right, did get a hand on it.
11th in the conference in third down conversion. Facing a house full of Aggies.
You got what you want up top. One-on-one coverage, no safety help.
Play clock at 1. Just got it off. Orth on the design quarterback draw. He's got room. Perry Orth with a first down run. Who can catch him? Watts has the angle and finally shoves him out of bounds.
What a play by Perry Orth. A designed quarterback draw. Little stealing of the playbook from Texas A&M. You've got a quarterback that can run. I'll see you. I've got another one as well. Nice job by Perry Orth to get all that he could get and then get himself out of bounds without taking a big shot.
66-yard sprint for the former 6th-string walk-on.
Yeah, he's praying for a handoff right about now because he's winded.
And some oxygen. Longest run of the year for the Gamecocks.
Always hated those long runs. Tom, just give me a run and I can hand it off right now.
Well, he's going to have to use a timeout for the second straight play. The play clock was winding down. They may not have gotten that last snap off before it hit 0-0, before Orth scrambled for 66. We've got a tie game here at Kyle Field. South Carolina and Texas A&M locked at 7 early in the second quarter. College football continues today at 4 o'clock on SEC Network. Tennessee Martin heads into Fayetteville to take on Arkansas. And then tonight, under the lights, Tennessee and Kentucky match up in prime time. SEC college football all day today on SEC Network. Go back to that 66-yard scramble by Perry Orth. It came with the play clock winding down. The back judge today is Grant Bell. It's his job to look at the play clock and then look back down at the ball to see if it's snapped or being snapped. So while you're going to look at that and say, well, they should have been flagged, in reality, it's the same thing we saw last year with Florida playing Kentucky in Gainesville.
Right.
The SEC office is going to tell you that's how it should be officiated. That play was legal.
He's got to see the clock hit 0 and then see that the ball's not snapped. And if it's being actually snapped as it hits 0, it's not an infraction. So I think it's the right call not to call him for a delay of game in that situation. You're right. It's exactly like South Carolina, Kentucky of last year.
Yeah, Florida and Kentucky.
Excuse me, Florida, Kentucky.
Here's Wilds now. Got a key block on the edge and takes it all the way down to the 5-yard line. That big fella out front, Mason Zandy clearing the way. Pick up a 14.
Well, nice job by Alan Knott. He pulls around. Watch number 70 get a nice chop down block. That clears the edge for Brandon Wiles to turn up the field. Mason Zandy as well helping out at right tackle. But a nice job there by Alan Knott, the center.
Out of the pistol now. South Carolina beleaguered by the red zone issues all season long. See if they got something else new here inside.
Keep an eye here for Pharaoh Cooper. Want to get the ball to him in the red zone.
Orth looks over the middle. Now to the slant through the hands of DJ Neal.
Well, you don't get many of those, Tom. That'll be one when you're watching the film tomorrow or Monday that you wish you had back. This is just throw a catchable ball. Just nobody between you and the receiver. Just put it right in the middle of the 3. Doesn't need to be high. There's not a linebacker, impairing your vision. Just put it there where he can catch it and come down in the back of the end zone.
2nd and goal.
Where's Cooper? Where's 11?
They only have 2 touchdowns in the last 10 red zone opportunities. One today, the other one at Missouri a few weeks ago. Here's the option, and Orth keeps it. 6 yards there. He goes for 72 yards on the ground in this drive, and South Carolina has its first lead.
Boy, perfect play call by G.A. Mangus right here. That's the pressure. 2-man option, 1 man outside the tackle. He's the option man. He skates outside for Wiles. It means the quarterback keeps it. If he takes the quarterback, it's a pitch and a walk-in by Brandon Wiles. Excellent play call by G.A. Mangus, the offensive coordinator.
A 6-play, 88-yard drive. 1 minute and 47 seconds. And South Carolina, heavy underdog coming in today, has some momentum here in the first quarter. They've scored 14 unanswered under the direction of Sean Elliott. Perry Orth with an option look and a quarterback keeper. His legs and the fire from Sean Elliott have the Gamecocks in front. Has Carolina out front 14-7 over Texas A&M. Let's check in with Laura.
Well, Connor McQueen for A&M, their backup quarterback, is like a secondary coach on the field. And McQueen was told by Spavital before the game his role was going to be even more important in this game. They needed him to be a communication source out there, and he's watching the quarterbacks like a hawk. He continues to communicate with Kyler Murray, telling him what he's seeing out there, trying to keep him calm. And Kyle Allen, guys, has also been crucial for Kyler Murray. He's been talking to him the entire game and really encouraging him every time he comes over to the sideline. Good to see the communication for these A&M quarterbacks.
It's a little bit different than what we saw early in the season when Kyle Allen played and Kyler Murray was just kind of watching over on the sideline. The kick goes out the back of the end zone.
Away from everybody, taking in the action.
Let's check in with studio. Matt Schick behind the desk today.
Thank you, Tom. Over on ESPN, Sean White making his 5th start for Auburn, had yet to throw a touchdown pass in his young career. That changes here. Ricardo Lewis, 47 yards for the strike. Tigers up 10-3 on Ole Miss. Guys?
And on Nick Saban's birthday, he might be pulling for Auburn today.
Yeah, no doubt. You just don't know which Ole Miss team's going to show up. I mean, is it the team that beat Alabama, the team that beat A&M? Or, you know, who knows?
The team that lost to Memphis.
The Memphis loss.
Or got swamped in the swamp. A&M run game has been fantastic so far today. And Trey Carson has a pickup of 5 on first down.
I thought that penalty right before the second quarter on Ricky Seals-Jones really kind of killed the momentum of that last drive for Texas A&M and gave South Carolina a little spark.
Murray hands it off on 2nd and 5. It's Carson again trying to beat the safety. And he gets ridden down by Isaiah Johnson. Ball came loose, but Carson was out of bounds at about the 43. It's a 27-yard run. Well, there's one way you can save the legs of Murray. Back-to-back handoffs to Carson.
And you have Isaiah Johnson coming in clearly down, and then the ball comes out. But he is being asked to do a lot today, the transfer from Kansas on the back end of South Carolina's defense.
And now it's James White who takes it to the 40 in a gain of 4. Sky Moore with the tackle.
We've got 2 now that are healthy. They can sub in and out. Until you stop it, I would give South Carolina a heavy dose of Carson and James White.
149 yards on the ground for A&M. They came in averaging 147. 95th in the country. On play action, Murray pulls it back foot, slings it. Too much for Christian Kirk. Pretty hard to overthrow Christian Kirk with his speed.
He's got some arm strength, and you know, you talk to some of these A&M receivers, it's spinning. I mean, it is a beautiful spiral every time it comes out, but it's a catchable football. It's not a hard ball that comes at you. When it hits your hands, it's soft, it's easy to catch, it's hard to teach. But he learned from one of the best that ever played in the Southwest Conference and here at Texas A&M, his father, Kevin Murray.
Quarterback for Jackie Sherrill back in the mid-80s. On 3rd down, deep down the sideline. Too much that one. Speedy Noyle, his intended receiver.
Once again, South Carolina gets themselves off the field, going to force a Texas A&M punt. And as they continue to force punts, the confidence of the Gamecocks continuing to grow.
And on the other side, you think maybe A&M, after a tough week of practice and change of quarterbacks, might be wondering why they can't execute on offense.
We'll start questioning a little bit. This is a nice area, though, for a fake, so you got to be on alert here.
Needed 6 for the first down. Oh, that one's a beauty, and we'll check up. That looked like Andre's lob wedge.
I wish.
Nice. The start today for South Carolina, he's been effective.
I'll tell you what, in rhythm, passing, throwing the football. You see here, once he gets to the top, there's a hitch and the ball is out. And then, of course, he can do this with his legs, big 60-plus yard run to set up this play, which is the option. Reads Sean Washington out in space. He takes the pitch man, Brandon Wiles, and allowed Perry Orth to walk in untouched.
Kyler Murray came in as a Gatorade National Player of the Year. Perry Orth came into South Carolina in 2012 as a 6th-string walk-on quarterback. So far, they've matched numbers today. Orth got his first start against Georgia after an injury. And before that start against Georgia, he placed phone calls, spoke with Dylan Thompson, Stephen Garcia, Connor Shaw. What do I expect? What do I need to do? And what do I expect playing for Steve Spurrier? So now everything's changed for South Carolina in the quarterback situation.
And I asked Sean Elliott, I said, given all things equal, everybody's 100% healthy, who gives you the best chance to win? I said Perry Orth, which is why we're going with him.
False start. Offense. Number 74. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
That's the second one on Mason Zandy. Watch the right tackle. Right there, just a flinch. And you're not going to miss him. I told you earlier, 6'9". If he flinches, the entire stadium knows it.
It's Wilds that time. Wilds, we mentioned, battling the rib injury. He was cleared before the game at LSU. Remember that game that was supposed to be played in Columbia, but because of all the flooding in the mid-state and throughout the entire state of South Carolina, really, they moved it to LSU. When he was cleared, the doctor said you can play. He told Steve Spurrier right before the game, I can't go, my ribs are hurting. He got that extra week, came back against Vandy, went for 119 on the ground against the Commodores. David Williams this time. And Myles Garrett with the tackle. It's a pickup of 5.
Yeah, well executed because it gets you to 3rd down and medium. And where you can pick up 5 yards. You want to be careful with the football. You've got a 7-point lead, and you don't want to make a mistake this deep on your end of the field. So they've come out, chosen to run it to Wiles and Williams, and now they're in a situation or a down and distance that they can manage.
Farrell Cooper, middle of the trips, the right side of the formation. That pass a little bit late. Cooper got tripped up. No flag. Coverage by Justin Evans. I thought he had him right out of the break.
Yeah, a little bit late with the football, and that allowed Evans to cover up from the back end. You'll see the roll here. Cooper's on the corner route. Right there is when it's open. And he's got to flatten it out with a defender that high on top. It almost becomes a deeper out route to beat the coverage. You're actually, if you take it deeper, you're running to be covered.
Speedy Noyle back to return. Sean Kelly, the South Carolina punter. No chance for Noyle to return this one. It will take a South Carolina hop. And finally down after a 54-yard punt. Kyler Murray got up to a great start for Texas A&M. Missed a field goal first drive, scored on the second. Can they get back on track, trailing by touchdowns? One of the best scenes in college football. South Carolina at Kyle Field for the first time leads by a touchdown. Texas A&M led by Kyler Murray today, the freshman from Allen, Texas.
Yeah, sharp in the passing game to Josh Reynolds to get him started. We know that he can do this. You get out of position, he can hurt you with his legs. Ricky Seals-Jones with a nice throw and catch on the back shoulder, and then a touchdown to Josh Reynolds as well. Got everything started for Kyler Murray, but they've stalled the last couple of drives. Hoping to get this engine revved up and moving again.
Great football player, also a great baseball player. It runs in the family. His dad was an 11th round pick of the Brewers back in the day. His uncle Calvin played for the San Francisco Giants, and he hits a slant to Josh Reynolds here into South Carolina territory. And I'm told by Little Birdie that Kyler Murray has found time already this fall to get in the cage and get a few swings in. He's thinking about playing for Rob Childress in the spring for a top 10 Aggie baseball team.
Hard to do if you're trying to nail down the quarterback job and be the guy here on campus for the football team. It's tough to do.
2nd down and 3. Again to the slant. And again a first down. Ricky Seals-Jones bounces it to the outside.
Oh, he's so big. And his catch range is off the charts. So if you get him moving in space, so agile as well when he has the ball in his hands, he's dynamic after the catch. What a weapon for Texas A&M.
We've got an injured Gamecock down on the field. 2 catches for 51 yards for Seals Jones.
That's 6'5", 240 at wide receiver.
Taylor Stallworth on his knees. We got a moment to go down the field, check in with Laura.
South Carolina defensive coordinator John Hoke has been telling his guys they have to get a turnover soon. And forcing turnovers is an emphasis throughout the week in practice. They have what they call a big play board, and you get a point for an interception or a forced fumble. Sky Moore guys leading with about 16 points.
Yeah, they had 5 takeaways against Vandy. 3 picks last time out for South Carolina.
Let me tell you this. It's hard to get turnovers when you're playing zone coverage and you're leaving that big a throwing lane for Kyler Murray. And you got Seals Jones and Josh Reynolds, who I think is the best receiver on this A&M football team, running freely in coverage. You're not getting any turnovers when that happens.
Stallworth helped to the sideline by the athletic training staff at South Carolina. Back to action, 1st and 10. James White, the sophomore from Pearland, in the backfield.
There's the matchup. Reynolds at the top of the screen. No safety help.
Kirk now in the backfield. They swing it out to him. The freshman looking for a block. Trying to outrun everybody. And he picks up 9. Isaiah Johnson shoved him out of bounds. Might be 10 and a first down. It is.
Let's say very close to the first down marker, and they indeed give it to him. But you had what you wanted at the top with Reynolds. One-on-one. They go to Kirk to just a catch and run.
Maybe some zone read here.
I like the option going to the field.
White gets stuck at the 2-yard line. No gain. David Johnson with the tackle.
Anytime you can put pressure on the edges with a guy with a playmaker like Kyler Murray, this is almost stealing when it gets down here. Now I like it into the short side. One guy outside the tackle box. There it is.
Murray with an option to throw, looks and gets corralled after a gain of 1. Isaiah Johnson and TJ Gurley in on the stop. It's going to leave 3rd and goal.
Every time he pulls it down, you're just holding your breath because you know something magical can happen. And what I like about him is, he's run the football a lot today, but he takes care of it. Smart, knows when to get down, knows when to engage the defense. Always knows the down and distance and where he needs to get to pick up first downs.
Trey Carson in at tailback. Fullback is Caden Smith. Carson straight ahead, plunges in.
Let's not mess around with it anymore. Let's get the big fella going downhill behind Mike Matthews and Joseph Cheek, the right guard. Just a little power football from Texas A&M to take care of business.
7 plays, 67 yards. A couple of big receptions. Ricky Seals Jones with the biggest. And the extra point is good. We are tied with 6:17 remaining in the first half in College Station. Kyler Murray, simple. Give it to Trey Carson. Feed the big fella. His 5th touchdown.
See that?
All right, fellas, thanks. We're tied at 14. And now that Steve Spurrier's no longer the head ball coach, we can call him Pharaoh Cooper instead of Pharaoh.
Always confused after you talk to Coach Spurrier.
He should know his name well. Rashad Fenton back to return this one. 6:17 remaining. Get the feeling that Texas A&M in the driver's seat here. They got some momentum. That was an impressive drive. Short kick, chance for a return. From the 4, it's Fenton. And he works his way out nearly to the 19. Just because you're not home on Saturday doesn't mean you can't watch college football. Take Watch ESPN with you and stream every game live. Just download the Watch ESPN app or go to watchespn.com.
All of a sudden, field position becoming an issue for South Carolina. A couple of drives starting inside their own 20-yard line after a punt. Really changed the field position. 2 big plays, and A&M was knocking on the door, and here they are again, starting this drive on their own 19-yard line. That's a lot of pressure when you're on the road.
3rd straight possession inside the 20. 4 or 5 total possessions have started deep in a hole. And they turn to Sean Carson for the first time. And Carson able to pick up positive yardage, a gain of 8. 5th-year senior from Scranton, South Carolina.
Yeah, he's really had to fight through a lot of injuries, Tom, since his sophomore year. Then he finally stayed healthy, turned his attention. He was a pretty solid baseball player himself and played for South Carolina on their baseball team, and decided last spring to just concentrate on football.
Orth keeps it. He's been the wild card today, and he scrambles his way for a first down and a pickup of 12.
That's a salty fake, as I went with Carson. Watch the fake here. He sold me. I was down inside with Deshaun Hall along with it with Carson, thinking it was a stop for no yards, and then all of a sudden Perry Orth has picked up the first down.
He has 77 of their 140 rushing yards today and only 5 carries.
And now they have some breathing room. The entire playbook opens up to G.A. Mangus.
Orth has it batted away by Deshaun Hall. Hall 6'6", and that one seemed to hit him right in the numbers.
I wanted to throw the hitch to DJ Neal, working against number 21 Brandon Williams, who I'm surprised a lot of teams don't challenge him more than they do. They just moved him to corner from running back this fall.
Major sport management. He managed that batted pass. Williams is matched up now with Trey Guger, bottom of the formation. Play clock trickling down again against Orth and company. It's at 1. They get it off. Inside handoff for David Williams. And that's going to leave 3rd and 10. Sean Washington with the tackle for Texas A&M. And this is the danger zone for South Carolina now. 3rd and 10.
Yeah.
5 minutes to go in the half. A&M gets it back. We've seen them run with tempo. We've seen what they can do.
Especially when you have Garrett and Hall on the outside. You can bring pressure with Watts and Evans, one of the safeties. I mean, this is where you know you've messed around on 1st and 2nd down. Now it's the defense's advantage when it's 3rd and 10.
21 sacks this season for John Chavis's A&M defense. They bring an extra man. Orth over the middle. Got it! First down and plenty of room for South Carolina. Wow, another big answer. Hayden Hurst, the little used wide receiver, takes it all the way for a gain of 47.
Well, watch him cross right here, right in the middle of the screen. They lose track of him, and he's able to catch it on the run. That's huge. A big throw from Perry Orth. I tell you what, every time South Carolina has had to answer A&M, they have stepped up to the plate. A lot of baseball references in this game, and answer.
They go to the screen. That's sniffed out. Whoa, he got free. Brandon Wilds broke through. A.J. Hilliard had him for a moment, couldn't bring him down. It turns into a gain of 7 instead of a no gain.
What, you play to the whistle. Brandon Wilds didn't hear the whistle. Texas A&M thought they'd stopped his momentum. Right in here, they don't bring him down. He's a big guy now at 6'2", 220. Hard, and he's not easy to tackle. Where's Cooper?
Bottom of the screen. Matched up with Brandon Williams, the corner you were just talking about, a former running back.
Yeah, but they've got Justin Evans over the top right here to help out on Cooper.
Quarterback draw. Orth trying to navigate. Lost the football. He got popped hard at the 3. South Carolina says they got on top of it.
Yeah, Wiles says that one of the Carolina players has it, but of course he's going to say that.
It would be a first down run, I believe. And they're going to say 3rd down now.
I think it bounced right back into the hands of Perry Orth. He took a shot. This is when you get all you can get and get down.
I think it landed right in his breadbasket after he was on the backside.
Yeah, I think it's A.J. Hilliard who teed off on Perry Orth. It goes right back to him. And just, you can breathe right now if you're a South Carolina fan.
Injured Aggie is their standout freshman defensive lineman, Daylon Mack, 5-star recruit. Number 6 overall recruit on ESPN's 300. Freshman from Gladewater, Texas.
And he's a good one. 6 tackles.
Result of the play is a first down. They have an injury timeout.
And 6 tackles for a loss this year.
The clock will start on my ready.
By Daylon Mack, as you mentioned, a 5-star recruit.
South Carolina facing a first. Daylon Mack exits the field after the injury in the injury timeout.
Keep a look here. Here's Daylon Mack, first to get a hand on Orth, and then it's the leg of Orth that kind of hits him in the top of the helmet. Good to see him walk off. He's a big, strong, true freshman who's just hard to block inside of that Aggie defensive line.
A 67-yard catch and run by Hayden Hurst setting up South Carolina. This is 1st and goal. That was only the 2nd catch of the season for the former Pittsburgh Pirates farmhand.
Big Adams in there. Maybe run the football here with Wiles.
With the pitch, Shin Wilds will walk in. South Carolina able to answer. 3-yard touchdown run.
Big Rivers Bendenbaugh, the fullback, he told us they were going to run some 2-back stuff in this ball game to get physical. This is what Sean Elliott has preached for about 2 solid weeks now, how physical they want to be. And you add tight ends as well as fullbacks. And Bendenbaugh is a pure blocking fullback. They go one way and it's easy.
I know how physical they've been. They tackled this week during Tuesday practice. They hadn't done that in a long time under Steve Spurrier. They said, let's get physical.
Show it to the fullback, kick it back to Brandon Wiles, and just one false step. Remember I told you, he's got some quicks. You take one false step down inside, they get Hall and the rest of the defenders, he outflanks them with that speed, and to Sean Elliott's liking, oh yeah, that one worked.
You mentioned the fullback, Rivers Bendenbaugh. He's from Leesville, South Carolina. He's a walk-on. Every Sunday, he heads back home and has lunch with his grandma. He might want to show her the film tomorrow. 3:04 left in the 2nd quarter. We had the feeling up here that South Carolina was in a position where they had to answer. They have, and they've turned around their red zone scoring. Worst in the country coming into today. 3 touchdowns on 3 possessions thus far today here in Texas. Nick Harvey back to return for Texas A&M. He's next to Christian Kirk. Kirk doesn't have a return yet today. He's been bothered by injury. He didn't practice all week. They finally got him out on the field yesterday.
I think maybe he's hit the freshman wall, so to speak. And Kevin Sumlin says, yeah, he's played about a full season in terms of yardage as a freshman.
Speedy Noyle watches it go over his head. So 21-14, South Carolina out in front. Tom Hart alongside Andre Ware. This is one of those games for South Carolina coming in. Kind of had the feeling that their back was against the wall. They've had so many changes, so many issues, and now all of a sudden to get the momentum and to get the confidence here in the first half, that's going to pay off in spades.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I've been impressed that every time Texas A&M has gone down, put the ball in the end zone, South Carolina, and they told us this, Sean Elliott, we have to score touchdowns. They've been able to do it. They've executed tremendously on offense.
Remember, their only 1 touchdown in their previous 9 red zone possessions came in that game at Missouri, where the pass was deflected into Sean Carson's hands. I don't want to call it lucky, but it was certainly a lucky bounce. That one goes for 6.
They're going to need some stops here defensively, though. I mean, just giving up too many chunk plays, and you get a guy like Ricky Seals-Jones involved, as well as Josh Reynolds. The last drive, they were the feature players in that drive.
Here's the freshman Kirk. It's tripped up by DJ Smith after a gain of 7.
My point is that you allow them to get hot, it becomes easy for Kyler Murray. Just distribute the football in a timely manner and get it to the weapons. You don't have to win the game for us.
Murray able to get it to the edge to Trey Carson. He's able to pick up 7, I believe.
Yeah, he's a guy that didn't see practice until Thursday as well. A little bruised, beaten up. We wanted to get his body fresh for today and decided to keep him out a little bit.
Murray keeps it and able to duck across the black logo here at midfield. Scott Moore in on the tackle.
So quick. He can change gears, give it and take it away. May not even lay a hand on it.
Talking with Jake Spavital yesterday, Kyler Murray loves tempo. That's what he's comfortable doing, and they've simplified the game plan. So we'll give 50 different looks, all for the same consistent plays. Here's Carson again, and Carson trying to find the sideline, gets shoved out of bounds after a first down catch and run. Pickup of 11. Al Harris Jr. with the stop.
Yeah, TJ Gurley goes inside thinking that's where Carson was going to be, but he basically blocks himself, and that just left a nice alley for Carson to pick up the first down.
Big Kelsey Griffin has checked into the defensive line for South Carolina. He's a space eater. White wrestled down by Isaiah Johnson after a gain of 4.
You just can't guess when playing against White as well as Carson or any of these A&M receivers. They're so talented after the catch that you have to make sure you're in good position to make an open field tackle.
Kirk motions out. Murray looks to him. Now back to the left side, down the sideline. And that one was incomplete. Speedy Noyle was about 2 steps out of bounds.
Yeah, that's the next. I think the next progression in his development is to start to hit those down the field. And if you look at it, it's one side of the field and let it go. Kind of like how they coached Johnny Manziel in his early years, not allowing him, or really not asking him to go through an entire progression. Pick a side of the field and work that one side. If it's not there, pull it down and make a play with your legs for us.
A&M 4 of 7 on 3rd downs today. On 3rd and 6, quarterback draw. Murray's got the first down. Good vision. He's still free down the sideline before stepping out, and a sprint of 28 yards for Kyler Murray.
I just don't understand. You know you have a dangerous quarterback. You're going to run a 4-man front. I mean, they have more blockers than you can defend against. And so you're asking Kyler Murray to run the quarterback draw in that instance. Four down linemen, 1 linebacker. They've got more blockers, or they can block 5-on-5, and now it's just pick an alley if you're Kyler Murray.
82 yards on the ground for Murray. Looks left. Incomplete. We've got a flag trying to fit it to Speedy Noyle. Al Harris Jr.
Yeah, may have gotten a handful of jersey once Noyle tried to work himself back outside.
He was back there with DJ Smith. A couple of sophomores in the South Carolina secondary.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 7. Foul occurred in the end zone. The ball is placed at the 2-yard line. Automatic first down.
Well, credit A&M as well. Every time South Carolina has taken a lead, Kyler Murray's led them right back down the field. You see again, choosing one side and not coming back. He's working that one side. If it's not there, pull it and make a play.
Option. Murray with the pitch. White takes it in. Did you figure this game for a shootout?
No. Not at all.
2-yard touchdown run for James White. His first touchdown of the season.
Little page out of the South Carolina playbook. You give me one guy outside that tackle box, well, you got a player that can, a quarterback that can run the option as well.
9 plays, 73-yard drive. South Carolina has set a season high for points and a half with 21. And Texas A&M has matched them. Well, the Kyler Murray 3rd down run set the stage for this.
You get the option, put pressure on the defensive end, And in that instance, it's Marquavius Lewis. He takes Kyler Murray, James White. It's easy. It's an easy walk in.
Perry Orth, 7 of 11 for 111 yards in the air, 81 on the ground. I don't think anybody had Orth matching Murray yard for yard on the ground.
Yeah.
Well, that's where they stand so far today.
Just about identical, and he's had about a possession more than Perry Orth, so he's got time to get that to about even. But this could be, you know, garbage points is what you tell your team right before halftime. A minute left in the first half. You get 2 timeouts. So any type of return here, and now you try to get a field goal. That's what you're thinking. And the ball to start the second half.
On Wednesday, the SEC Network grants you an all-access pass inside the Texas A&M program as they take on South Carolina. Join the team before, during, and after the game. SEC Inside, presented by Chick-fil-A. Wednesday at 7 Eastern on SEC Network and live on Watch ESPN. The SEC Inside cameras were inside the stadium before we were today, so you know they're going to have some good stuff. Here's Perry Orth, who spent his offseason stocking shelves at the Publix supermarket in South Carolina, and you're running after one of those chicken strip sandwiches. I can understand why you'd be so fast.
Yeah, this is what, as I mentioned, garbage time. Get you a field goal here, and you have an opportunity to pull away and make this a 2-score game coming out of the locker room. But take care of it here on the 25-yard line. Let's see what happens here.
No dice.
Yeah.
Deshaun Hall and company swallow up Brandon Wilds.
You know my theory, Tom, is that you can't score enough points in the first half of a ball game, and every possession in the first half is important. I'm going to choose the conservative route and go in tied up at 21 apiece. All of a sudden they've gotten a big run by Wilds. Maybe they go into their 2-minute look and try to push the pace a little bit.
Well, their 2 big plays in the first half came from unexpected sources. A 66-yard run from Perry Orth on 3rd and 8, and a 3rd down catch for Hayden Hurst that went for 67. Wilds once again stopped.
And I just think, I think possessions are so important. You only get a certain number of them in a game. You have 2 timeouts sitting on the clock. It's almost like playing scared. You know, go down and try to get some points. Put something together and try to knock this game out of the park when you come out of the locker room.
Texas A&M stops the clock. They have a couple more opportunities to do so. South Carolina's gotten these big plays that we talked about. On 3rd down, Perry Orth took off running, didn't finish until he was knocked out of bounds 66 yards later. The longest run from scrimmage this season for South Carolina. And then the former Pittsburgh Pirates minor league pitcher Hayden Hurst hauled this one in, his 2nd catch of the season. That covered 67 yards.
Hurst moved to wide receiver from tight end this year. And I mentioned in that Pirates organization, a guy that is listed as a true freshman at 6'5", 252.
A man after your own heart wearing that Buccos black and gold.
Pittsburgh Pirates.
They were one of the worst in the SEC in 3rd downs, but a couple of huge conversions today for South Carolina. This a 3rd and 11. What do you look to, and where's Pharoh Cooper?
This is almost kneel down time if after the first 2 plays.
Aggies can stop the clock twice more. Orth tried to take off. He got submarine and will hit the ground, a loss of 4. Clock stopped with 16 seconds left. This will force a punt, and A&M will have a chance.
Yeah, and credit Kevin Sumlin. I mean, using a timeout or a couple of timeouts with some time on the clock, he sees, you know, an opportunity to maybe steal some points with a return here. Don't allow South Carolina to just trot off into the locker room. We've got a couple of timeouts of our own. Maybe we get a return here.
And you've got a quarterback with a golden arm.
Yeah.
We watch Kyler Murray in practice. This kid can
spin it. I mean, that's the kind of attitude I think you play with before the half ends.
4 straight bowl wins for Kevin Sumlin and Texas A&M. No one in the country can match that. Some pressure on the punter here. Sean Kelly.
We don't know what happens. A block punt here. I'm sure they're coming after this baby.
Speedy Noyle stands at the 40. Wow, he got it away in a hurry. It will get out of bounds with 10 seconds left on the clock.
Well, let's see if A&M can hit a play here, a big play, and get out of bounds. They still have a timeout. All you're thinking at this point, if you're Texas A&M, is a Bertolet field goal attempt. He's just trying to one step and get it out because he knew that A&M was going to come after it and then forced a bad punt.
It was a 31-yard punt. It is well within the arm range of Kyler Murray.
That's a football team or a team being coached to try to win the half right now, and maybe even put a stamp on the football game.
A&M needs 15 yards to be within Taylor Bertolet's range of his career long of 55. I don't know if you just don't Hail Mary this thing. Nope, trying to go underneath. Kirk has it. He's popped. 5 on the clock. T.J. Gurley to stop.
Now let's go on into the locker room. Did they take the timeout?
Yeah, they did.
They did. They just set up for a long one. Try to protect Kyler Murray and let some routes develop down the field. Maybe hit a crosser, or maybe looked like we saw him working on a play in practice where they threw that thing to Kirk, and then he flipped it a couple of times.
On Thursday, catch a special installment of SEC Nation as Missouri takes on Mississippi State. They'll preview the game at Como as well as the upcoming week in the SEC. SEC Nation Thursday at 7:30 from Faurot Field in Columbia on SEC Network.
I mentioned that play. They flipped it around a couple of times. Seals Jones touched it. Josh Reynolds touched it and just kind of flipped their way all the way down the field.
2 safeties stand at the goal line for South Carolina.
He's got plenty of arm strength to get this baby to the end zone.
Murray will take off with it. He's got a lot of green in front of him. Can he make a move? Murray slides to a stop to end the half. 34-yard run. We've got a tied one. We'll hear from Laura Rutledge with Kevin Sumlin coming up on the SEC Network Halftime Report. Our score at Kyle Field, South Carolina 21, A&M 21. Now to Matt Schick in the studio.
All right, thank you, guys. Yeah, who knew we'd have a shootout here? Texas A&M taking on South Carolina.
In an SEC game, South Carolina did not trail at the half. We were locked at 21 between the Gamecocks and Aggies in an offensive explosion. A little bit unexpected. A&M ran 48 plays in the first half. They end up with 383 yards, but 21 points to show for it. Their quarterback, Kyler Murray, with 116 yards on the ground. It's the most by an SEC quarterback in the first half since Nick Marshall went for $164 against Tennessee 2 years ago. The key for South Carolina, the red zone. They've scored a touchdown in all 3 trips inside the red zone. That was an area of concern for them all season.
Yeah, I just thought it was important with a minute left in that first half to go down and continue to put pressure on Texas A&M.
No return here. South Carolina will open the second half with the ball moments ago. Laura Rutledge caught up with Sean Elliott.
Coach, 3 touchdowns in the first half. How have you seen some of those new wrinkles you put in make a difference?
Well, you know, most points were scored in the first half this year, so, you know, it's looking pretty good. Our guys are executing on offensively and having fun out there. You know, they're just going out there doing what they're told to do.
What have you seen from your defense and how they've handled Kyler Murray?
You know, I think they've handled him at times, but, you know, they go to an empty set and we're giving up the draw right there, a big run. And it's really foolish because we're leaving a 5-man box. We've got to do something inside to stop that. That's, you know, that's just silly.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Yeah, that about sums it up. It was a little bit silly. Kyler Murray running all over him.
Yeah, you're asking for it. When you go 4-1 front, that's a perfect set to run the quarterback draw.
Unable to execute in the run game. Brandon Wilds gets slammed for a loss by Sean Washington.
Go back to that point about a minute left in the first half of this game. In the first half, how important it is for points And A&M with some momentum right out of the locker room. Possessions are priceless. And you only have so many opportunities that you can score and put points on the board. Could have really taken control of this game. A field goal and maybe a touchdown here really would have put some pressure on Texas A&M. You got the middle of the field essentially open. A nice slant right in here.
Orth looks to the right. He gets chased by Hall on the run. Incomplete. Underneath Pharoh Cooper. Coverage by Davontae Harris. 3rd and 11.
And he actually got pressure, which forced him off the trip side. Up top, Jarrell Adams ran the route that I thought he would run with a nice open space there for the big tight end. All 6'6", 231 pounds of him. But the pass rush from Hall forced Orth off his mark.
Some big 3rd down conversions for South Carolina already today. Perry Orth, a 66-yard run. Hayden Hurst, a 67-yard catch and run. They roll the pocket. Caught. 1st down, Shamir Jeffrey. That one goes for 17.
Boy, excellent timing on the part of Perry Orth. In terms of setting his feet, watch him roll left. Hard to make this throw, so to make sure he makes it, he sets his feet, and even though everybody's focused in on Pharoh Cooper, he takes coverage with him that opened it up for Shamir Jeffrey.
And now some yardage out of the run game in Brandon Wilds. He picks up 8. The younger brother of Alshon Jeffrey on the receiving end.
Now watch the footwork of Perry Orth here. Sprinting to his left. This is a tough throw if he can't get squared up. So he makes sure that he sets, squares up, throws it out in front of Jeffrey. It's a nice throw and catch for the 1st down.
Their 4th big 3rd down conversion this afternoon. South Carolina happy to bleed that clock. Keep the ball out of A&M's hands. Once again, a snap with single digits on the play clock. Brandon Wilds again, straight up the middle. 1st down, South Carolina. Wilds rumbles for 7 before Armani Watts brings him down. Watts last week had 20 tackles against Ole Miss, 16 solo stops. Yeah. It was the first 20 tackle performance since Dat Wynn, the legend, put up 20 against UCLA in the '98 Cotton Bowl.
We talked to John Chavis about that. Talk about, how about the game that Armani Watts had? When he had 20 tackles. He said, well, that just shows me he's making too many tackles on the 3rd level.
Yeah.
We're not doing our job on the 1st and 2nd level of the defense that he has to make that many tackles.
In comparison, middle linebacker A.J. Hilliard only had 2 tackles against Ole Miss. 2nd down and 6. Wilds, nice cutback through an arm tackle, through a 2nd arm tackle. Armani Watts finally brings him down. It's a gain of 6.
Crowd's trying to get into this game to help this defensive unit, but he's so good. The cutback, when he's healthy, he's as good as there is in the SEC. I mean, he's not on Fournette's level, but he is a solid back when he's healthy.
Who is on Leonard Fournette's level?
Nobody.
Wilds 5 carries this drive. Pharoh Cooper trying to juke. There's too many black jerseys there. No gain.
You think they're on alert for Pharoh Cooper? About 6 jerseys around him when he got the football. And now it's time to go back to that same set and release a receiver. Donovan Wilson, the first guy to show up. And a bunch of other ones. Davontae Harris making a nice play in there to help out.
9th play of the drive.
Maybe a corner route from this inside slot here.
Wilds will set up 3rd down. Sean Washington in on the stop.
This is when they've pretty much all throughout this ball game get it to 3rd and medium, and then it's Perry Orth putting pressure on the outside of the defense, a run pass option. Listen, he's been just about perfect on 3rd down, 3 of 4, 68 yards.
And 66 yards running on 3rd down.
Yeah. Just putting some pressure on the defense here, getting him outside the pocket.
It is loud. DJ Neal, the wide receiver, right of the formation, tried to holler at Orth. Not sure he heard him. Looking towards Neal. Pressured and dropped. Deshaun Hall on a dead sprint. And it's a 12-yard loss.
It looked like they were trying to set up a screen to Brandon Wiles, and he got lost. You had receivers already blocking down the field. So this is a set design screen. He's trying to chip his way out. In the end, or maybe the tackle to that side couldn't catch a number. Just basically grabs him, and that didn't allow him to get himself out into the route.
So a 10-play drive will stall in Aggie territory. Speedy Noel back to receive this punt, stands inside his 10. Checks up a little too much. 23-yard punt. A&M will have it at the 19. Deshaun Hall with his 6th attack of the season. South Carolina and A&M tied at 21. Kyle Allen hasn't seen a snap today. We don't expect him to. He's the 3rd-string quarterback. Coaches all year have been telling us, after you play Alabama, you're a different kind of team. Kyle Allen can attest to that. This was in the 2nd quarter in Tuscaloosa, probably here at home against Alabama. Took a hard hit there. Same drive, threw his 2nd interception. 3 picks with 3 pick sixes. And then Reggie Ragland took him down, fell on the right shoulder, and he hasn't been the same since. This was another one of his picks. And a guy who had the best quarterback rating in the SEC through the first 5 games has been a different quarterback since. He lost his starting job this week. He tells his coaches he's 100% healthy. The stats would say otherwise. 13 touchdowns to 2 picks in the first 5 games. 1 touchdown to 4 big picks over the last 2. His quarterback rating off the cliff.
Yeah, of course he'll tell the coaches he's hurt. He doesn't want to come out.
He's healthy, you mean?
And healthy, and give Kyler Murray an opportunity to take his job. But I don't need, a bunch of people to tell me he's not healthy. He's too good of a quarterback to. We'll get right back into this after this play.
It's Josh Reynolds for a first down.
So you can see it. You saw it against Alabama, the shoulder. You saw it against Ole Miss. He just does not look the same. And the scamp for me is that you don't go from 1st string to 3rd string if something isn't wrong.
He misfired on his first pass against Ole Miss, missed a wide open receiver by about 5 yards in what was a simple pass with no pressure. So judge for yourself, as we say. And on 1st and 10, Kyler Murray, the freshman, now with an option run, keeps it. Let's check in with Laura.
Jake Spavital said it's tough to see anybody go through something like this, but especially a 19-year-old kid and what Kyle Allen is dealing with. But he said he's been so professional throughout. Today in warm-ups, Spavital didn't even have to tell him to go and work with the 3rd-team guys. He went right over there, went about his business. I've seen him today on the sideline, really active and communicating with everybody.
He was the MVP of the Liberty Bowl last year. It's fantastic in the 2nd half. We got a flag after this long run from Trey Carson. Maybe coming back. It stands for a 14-yard gain as is.
Usually right in the middle of the formation like that. That's evidence of a hold. That'll bring this back.
Kyle Allen's numbers in the 2nd half against Ole Miss just abysmal. Just 1 for 16 in the 2nd
Holding
half.
Offense, number 78. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay 2nd down.
Keaton Sutherland, the left guard. Well, Kyle Allen this week had an answer. He said, like I said last year, don't count me out yet. Now let's beat South Carolina. That was via Twitter yesterday.
Yeah, I can't believe he's 100% healthy. And sometimes you have to protect the player from himself.
Well, that's my biggest question. I guess I don't understand from an organizational standpoint why A&M wouldn't share that information, because it defends his performance last week in a big way.
Well, we saw, there's the video was there.
Here's James White. He takes it straight ahead to erase the penalty. Picks up a 1st down after a rip of 15.
And he's been so solid before the Alabama game that, you're trying to gut it out against Ole Miss, and it just wasn't there last week.
The side story to that is, instead of going to Kyler Murray, they went to Jake Hubenak late in that game to replace Kyle Allen. The coaching staff said we had an issue during the Alabama game. We went into Ole Miss knowing full well that Kyler Murray wasn't going to play. They stopped short of calling it a suspension at the time, but he wasn't going to see the field. He did take reps that week, but none with the first team. That was all Humanek and Allen. He goes to the slant here to Ricky Seals-Jones. And that brings up a bit of conundrum for Kevin Sumlin and Texas A&M. They have these personality profiles and aptitude tests they put their players through. Kyler Murray tests out as a guy who has to learn by doing. He has to see defenses in front of him and get reps. He barely got any. In fact, he didn't get any first-team reps the week of the Ole Miss game, and he got some this week. In fact, he took the majority of them. Sky Moore, the injured Gamecock, down to a knee.
I think they just decided to go ahead and shut Kyle Allen down for a while and let him heal up. And then, you know, with that, you're going to give Kyler Murray his opportunity to play, and he needed all the work possible to get himself ready for this ball game. And they could ill afford to lose. Sky Moore gets leg whipped right around the pile right there by T.J. Holloman.
Junior from Cooper City, Florida. Moore has been magnificent. In the last 50 years, only 5 players have led South Carolina in tackles and picks in the same season. 3 of them made it to the NFL. He's doing the same right now. Here's Murray. Wow, nothing but green grass. Little stutter step. Oh, he almost cut through in front of Lamons. It's a 21-yard run.
You see why I describe him as a more dynamic runner than even Johnny Manziel. I think he's faster for sure, for one. And then he's even more elusive. When he decides to commit to it, boy, he hits it in a hurry.
142 yards on the ground for Murray. Now to the end zone. Incomplete. Trying to find Josh Reynolds. Chris Lamons had the coverage.
We're glad to have Lamons back. He's missed the last couple of games with a knee injury, and back in the lineup provides some good depth. Just feet are going a little bit faster than the mind at that point. Slow him down.
2nd and goal. They've scored 3 touchdowns in 4 red zone possessions. They opened the day by missing a chip shot 25-yard field goal. Option. Murray cuts it back. Spins and gets dropped by T.J. Holloman. Pickup of 2. And that will leave 3rd and goal.
So quick. As we mentioned, when you run the option with him and he turns up, you barely get a hand on him. Holloman, he's got an arm, and he's not a big guy. You know, he's at 188 pounds is what they list him. Holloman's at 231, so when he gets a hand on him, he's going down.
10th play of the drive.
It's just hard to get that hand on him.
Right. Murray to Kirk. Stopped just short. South Carolina denies Christian Kirk the end zone. T.J. Gurley, the nickelback, with the coverage, are going to leave the offense on the field for now.
Yeah, they run Noyle inside to clear out coverage. And the ball doesn't cross, but this is a good decision by Kevin Sumlin to go for it here. I thought he would do it before, and when Bertolet missed the field goal, here he's making up for it.
Yeah, 3 of 9 on 4th down this season. 4th and goal to take the lead. Murray's got it. He's in. Touchdown Aggies. A&M back in front.
Perfect execution. A nice block by Caden Smith. But everybody went with the big back and Trey Carson, and Murray read it perfectly. Watch everybody collapse on Carson, and then Murray's going to walk in untouched. Well executed.
16 for 145 and a touchdown. First rushing touchdown of Kyler Murray's career as an Aggie. Bertolet punches it through. They decided to go for it on 4th and goal. Kyler Murray pulls the ball back, pushes it over the goal line, and Aggies in front.
Flame grilled jerky. Dried to be tough, flame grilled to be tender.
This is the first trip ever for South Carolina to College Station. It's their first trip to the state of Texas since 1976 when they lost in Waco to Baylor. Down by a touchdown here. And South Carolina fans, if you haven't made the trip, this is one you got to come on. Now permanent rivals in the SEC, and the traditions here at A&M unlike anywhere else. It is the home of the 12th man. You know about the number 12 on the kickoff coverage teams. It goes deeper than that. It's all the students that stand ready essentially to come in the game, the entire game. DX Bible got that tradition going, and this season, the last 3 years, it's been Sam Miller wearing number 12. Here's Rashad Fenton from the 1. Miller trying to get in on the tackle. Flag comes out, and Fenton knocked out of bounds at the 35-yard line.
Yeah, it's going to be a block in the back. This one's coming back. Some pretty good field position that South Carolina's going to lose here.
During the return, holding on the receiving team, number 30, half the distance to the goal, first down.
There is one tradition we didn't mention. It happens at midnight yell, and it happens on game day. When the Aggies score, you score. The tradition is you kiss your date every time A&M scores.
Well,
did you make it to midnight yell last night?
No, I didn't. I was asleep. They let's see, four times already today.
We got a uniform malfunction. Kyler Murray headed back to the locker room. Got a rip in the pants. He's back on the sideline. Let's check in with Laura.
Well, Murray came back on laughing about this, but he's got a new pair of pants, and as soon as the rip happened, he went right to the trainers, and they made sure they would get him all fixed up.
Not just a quick runner, quick change artist. That was some Superman-like speed.
Concert type stuff.
Yeah, that was like Tay-Tay.
Changing.
Brandon Wiles left side. Oh, he's got room, and he's got an answer. Brandon Wiles down the sideline. Don't forget about the Gamecocks yet. Justin Evans forces him out of bounds after a 42-yard run.
Yeah, the way they describe him, upright runner who's tough, and he's got breakaway speed. And if you don't get a hand on him, he can break a game wide open. When he's healthy, he's a solid player. That gives the field position right back to South Carolina.
Officially 43 yards. Our running handicap in between breaks. We're thinking South Carolina has to answer here. I'm wondering if they could. It's a big step closer. Wilds again gets turned around by Deshaun Hall, and plenty of help on the inside. A.J. Hilliard there, and Wilds holding his left leg. Yeah, Brandon Wilds still on the turf.
They try to go back behind Brandon Shell, who threw a nice block the play before, and this has been his problem his entire career at South Carolina. Injuries just continue to bug Brandon Wilds. Not sure where it happened.
The left leg kind of got folded underneath
it. It's just cramps. As he's reaching for the left leg, the right one was the one that actually got was being held by an Aggie defender.
Wilds missed time this year with a rib injury. He got a nice pat on the back from Sean Elliott, and the way he's stretching that out, you think maybe it is cramps.
Yeah, they hand him some water or Gatorade right away, so I'm going to bet it's cramps.
David Williams takes over at tailback. Orth rolls right, comes back left to Farrell Cooper. Needs a block, and they brought him down by his hip. Myles Garrett out there to make the stop. It's a gain of 5, and that will leave 3rd and 5.
Well, how about Myles Garrett redirecting himself? He's a defensive end that gets all the way out to the sideline to help make a play. One of the strongest guys, strongest players on this entire team. He's a pretty good basketball player in high school as well.
Play clock into single digits again. Intercepted! Texas A&M's Donovan Wilson. Free sailing. Touchdown, Aggies.
really stared it down. Watch the eyes. Catch, he's trying to go to Cooper, and Donovan Wilson steps right in front of it. Big-time playmaker, making a big-time play in this game.
4th pick of the season for Wilson, the sophomore from Shreveport, Louisiana. Bertolet punches it through. John Chavis said we need to get tougher. Last year only 5 picks as an entire team. Wilson's got 4 of his own this season. 13th straight game with a takeaway for A&M, and the Aggies in control. You're watching SEC Network football presented by Allstate. Texas A&M is taking control with a pick 6. It's 35-21 Aggies. Time now to take a look at today's Good Hands play, brought to you by Allstate. Donovan Wilson had 10 tackles last week against Ole Miss. And 3 picks on the season, and this one, Andre, as you said, telegraphed, and he's able to jump it.
Yeah, just the eyes of Perry Orth told everybody defensively, especially the guy in position, Donovan Wilson, that he was going to Pharaoh Cooper, steps into it and takes it on a house call. An interception last week, and then again a pick 6 today against Perry Orth in South Carolina.
Already more takeaways this season in game number 8 than they had all of last year.
What a pretty good defensive coordinator.
Yeah. 21 years John Chavis was at Tennessee. 6 he was at LSU. He has made his bones in the SEC, former Tennessee player and part of that 1998 BCS National Championship with a loaded Tennessee defense that year. He told us the best coaches he's ever had have been players. At Tennessee, of course, it was Al Wilson. It was Patrick Peterson at LSU. He said he's the reason guys like the Honey Badger, Mo Claiborne and company were able to have success in the field, because their own players were helping coach them up on the field.
What about that Duke?
Yeah, he saved money.
Like it.
Saved money on the barbershop back in the 70s, didn't he?
I think that's a sign of a program in itself, is when the players are basically coaching other players, passing it down, and helping the younger players get better. That's what it's all about.
Chief has made an instant impact here.
False start. Offense. Number 71. 5-yard penalty. Still first down. Please reset the game clock. 4 minutes, 8 seconds. 4 minutes, 8 seconds.
Left tackle Brandon Shell. There's John Chavis next to us.
Done a heck of a job here in a very short period of time. Players, you were talking to him, said, hey, they bought in right away. And says you don't become a good player until you can play with confidence, and he builds confidence in players.
Last year they allowed 451 yards a game. That was worse in the SEC. That was part of their 0 for October when they got torched. And then this season, what a difference. Season high 3 interceptions against Ole Miss. And this is a place that's, you could still say, traditionally known for their defense.
Yeah.
Remember the Wrecking Crew in 91 under Bob Davie? Man, they were fantastic, but they haven't been able to return to that. Reverse action, Pharaoh Cooper. First down for Cooper past the 40. Since then, in fact, really since 2002, Texas A&M's defense has been nationally ranked 96th or worse 6 times. They haven't been higher than 46th in total defense in that span.
These last 2 seasons, and you see the effect that John Chavis is starting to have here at Texas A&M.
Daylon Mack back in the game. Impact player. Loss of 5.
I mean, you talk about one heck of a foundation. True freshman and Daylon Mack, Myles Garrett, Deshaun Hall, 3 very young players that can take over a game at any point. The 2 edge rushers, and then a grown man in the middle in Daylon Mack. What a foundation they're building here at A&M.
On 2nd and 15, swing pass to David Williams. Less the man. And he gets ridden out of bounds by Josh Walker. 21-yard gain.
Good block out in space by DJ Neal to free him up. They invite the rush. And Jared Johnson comes up the field, leaves the outside vacated. It's a nice block, as I mentioned, from DJ Neal. And a South Carolina first down. How do you get back in this game? Pharaoh Cooper and the running game. They already found a way to get it to Cooper, and Williams now in the ball game.
Two-back set with Wilds and Williams. Wilds has it. They haven't had much luck in between the tackles against Texas A&M today. Zakoven Henderson, the 297-pound sophomore, with a stop.
Yeah, I think he's better coming downhill. They're trying to run him laterally. That's not his. That's not what he does best. Trying to get to the edge and then cut it up. And let him come right downhill into the face of this Texas A&M defense.
92 yards and a touchdown today for Brandon Wilds. A little bit behind Wilds. Takes it off his hip, tries to turn it up. Shed a few. Let's check in with Laura.
South Carolina athletic trainers have been working on Brandon Wilds' left ankle. They put a compression sleeve on it and then retaped it. He was able to run around on the sideline. Obviously, he's back out there right now, but something to keep an eye on.
All right, Laura, thanks.
He has a history of ankle problems. Was out an entire year because of that.
On 3rd and 2.
Nice.
He picks up the first down.
That's how I like to see him utilized. Just right downhill. Let's get right into the teeth of the defense and let him find and pick a soft spot once he gets in there. You run him laterally, that's not what he's best at.
Another fake reverse this time, and Wilds kept it. He's got room. Wilds cuts it back outside. And South Carolina on Halloween with a trick and treat, a 33-yard touchdown run for Wilds as they fake the reverse.
You fake it, it gets everybody flowing. Watch the flow of the defense once the fake happens. And then what a job he does on Watts. Armani Watts misses a tackle. And then the speed and athletic ability of Brandon Wilds gets South Carolina right back in this game.
Eight-play, 75-yard scoring drive. This is a South Carolina program which was put into flux when Steve Spurrier announced he was stepping down. So they'll have a position to fill, and all of a sudden it's become the wacky season when it comes to coaching vacancies. Jerry Kill, because health reasons, had to step down this week. Emotional press conference in the Twin Cities. So Minnesota will have an opening. One of 3 Big Ten schools that will be open. Miami is open now. USC obviously with an opening. George O'Leary has stepped. And there's more to come.
Yeah.
You know, maybe a lot more to come. It's got to make you think twice if you're an AD. How do I get the guy I want?
Yeah, you usually see this stuff during, NFL seasons where guys are either let go or resigning in the middle of a season. And I think with, the landscape of college football and the way it is now, coaches making so much money, alums are less patient than they ever have been. And they want change, and they want it right now. So it's starting to bleed its way into college football. Coaches at mid-season or at some point during the season. I mean, way back, you never would see college football coaches resigning in the middle of the season or being let go or fired in the middle of the football season. They were always allowed to coach through the last game of that year.
Money wasn't an issue when Elliott started as an assistant for Jerry Moore at Appalachian State. $7,000 was his salary. He lived in a broom closet on campus at the Broomkirk Gym. It was free space. College football continues today at 4 o'clock on SEC Network when Tennessee Martin takes on Arkansas. Then at 7:30, Tennessee matches up with Kentucky in prime time. It's SEC college football all day today on SEC Network. I wonder if Brent made it over to Keeneland today for the Breeders' Cup Classic.
You think?
Maybe. American Pharoah's going off at a 4-5 favorite.
Saw him earlier today with a hat on that said American Pharoah. I'm betting he made it over.
But I'm willing to bet there's not a hotel room available within 2 hours of Lexington. Kyler Murray with a heck of a debut as a starting quarterback. Hands it off to Trey Carson. Sky Moore back in the game with the stop for South Carolina.
He's taking care of the football. Kevin Sumlin talked about that before the half. 45 yards. What a day.
284 yards as a team. On the ground for Texas A&M. Carson picks up one, brought down by David Johnson.
Here's the test for John Hoke. Can he get this defensive unit off the field here on third down as we get ready to go into the fourth quarter?
They'll need a stop on South Carolina's first visit to College Station. Sean Elliott's got the troops fired up. It is now. It is the fourth quarter. They trail by a touchdown. We've had a barn burner thus far. Can the fourth quarter keep pace with the first three? Texas A&M with a touchdown lead on South Carolina. In Aggieland, those stands are known to sway when that happens. Touchdown lead for the hometown Aggies, trying to hold off a pesky South Carolina team. Back to action. Kyler Murray trying to hit on the slant, and it falls to the turf. Let's go back to the studio.
All right, thank you, Tom. Update you on what's going on at Auburn. Chad Kelly tied at 13. Not anymore. Derek Jones, whoop, into the end zone. 45 yards for the touchdown. It's 20-13. Auburn driving. We'll keep you posted.
All right, Matt, thanks. It's a first 3 and out for Texas A&M. And South Carolina's going to have an opportunity. Look at this
what
kick.
A punt.
Cooper Chase, and it will trickle into the end zone. Wow. Drew Kaiser is on pace to break Shane Leckler's school record average for punt. Just booted a 71-yarder.
Well, that'll flip the field. And you have one. It's a weapon like no other. When you're talking about a close game, you need to win field position. He just basically punted A&M out of trouble.
Between quarters, interim head coach Sean Elliott grew up a South Carolina fan, played in the state championship high school game at Williams-Brice Stadium.
Love it.
Showing his passion for his team.
Love it. When they needed a stop as well on third down, that's what he brought, some energy to their defense.
Perry Orth to throw on the run, wide open. He's got his tight end, Kyle Markway. So many unsung heroes coming up big today for South Carolina. Just the second catch of the season for Markway, covers 27.
Yeah, and two of them being true freshmen. Hayden Hurst earlier in this ball game, and a nice touch pass to Kyler Markway, the first player from the state of Missouri to sign at South Carolina since the early 90s.
Out of Yanni High School in St. Louis, 1st and 10 now. Sean Carson in at running back. Able to drag a man for a couple. Richard Moore had him around the hip.
Well, hang on. We are far from the finish line. Needed a defensive stop. They made some adjustments. The coach Elliott talked about 4-man fronts or 4-1 look, inviting A&M to run the draw. What do? They come out that last possession, 7 in the box, and forcing, or actually rallying up to make a couple of nice stops on Trey Carson and forcing a 3 and out, and now they are on the move offensively.
Orth pressured, dumps it, and Jarrell Adams changed direction. A lot of running for only 2 yards, but most importantly, he was able to avoid the sack.
I wanted him to see, just get vertical. At that point, just turn, get right up the field, get all you can get, and then protect the football. All that running around, bad things happen.
3rd down 6.
3rd and 6. Who's the go-to guy? There he is, Pharoh Cooper.
Or trying to keep it. Netted just one. A.J. Hilliard the stop.
We've got to find a way to get Cooper the football. Whether you motion him in, give him an option route. But this, I believe, was a play call with the intention that if you got closer to getting that first down, you got it to about 4th and 1, 4th and 2, he may have entertained the thought of going for it on 4th down.
Would they fake it here?
It's a perfect area on the field to fake it, but with 12.5 minutes left, I think they're going to punt the football here.
Fair catch asked for and taken inside the 15-yard line. 12-13. Let's take a look at Playing with Style, brought to you by Belk. First start for freshman Kyler Murray, and he has been magnificent today. Only 1 3-and-out for the A&M offense.
Boy, I mean, he is magical with the football in his hands. You see the touch. He's had a chance to drill a few as well, but the legs, 145 yards on the ground in this one, 193 through the air. You could not have scripted a better start to his career at Texas A&M than what he's doing today.
First start for the young man who was undefeated as a high school quarterback at Powerhouse Allen High School. Just as an example of how big football is in Allen, Texas, they play in a new $60 million stadium. $60 million. Foundation problems or not.
That big where you had to say it twice, huh?
That's right. I had to talk myself into believing it. I've seen the pictures. I haven't been there, but
has yet to lose a football game. He's a starting quarterback dating back to his days at Allen High School, and his first start today. He's got a little mileage left in front of him, but well on his way.
And they go with a quarterback draw. Murray slides to a stop. You heard Kevin Sumlin at the half tell Laura, not worried about that. He's a baseball player. He knows how to slide.
Yeah, they go back to that 4-man front. And what's Jake Spavital do? Dial up the quarterback draw right away.
.151 on the ground, averaging 9 yards a carry, and a bullet complete to Ricky Seals-Jones for a first down.
What I've been impressed with Kyler Murray is his ability to get the ball out of his hands. A nice crisp pass right there. You identify it, let it go. That first read, and like I said, they're not trying to overwhelm him with a playbook yet. It'll come in stages, but right now he's executing what's being called.
Trey Carson on the left side. This is a offensive line that allowed 8 sacks over the previous 2 games. They have held up well. No sacks today. They made 1 change at left guard. Keaton Sutherland took over for Jeremy Stuckey on the left side of the line.
Well, they're ready for one of those quick hitch and goes where it's a bubble screen and go, a pump, and let the receivers turn up.
On 2nd and 5 behind Matthews, Carson gets corralled, maybe 1.5 yards. Sky Moore with the stop.
Well, now all the pressure on South Carolina and it looks like Sky Moore a little slow to get up
holding
again.
his left wrist this time.
It was cramps before, but this time an injury around the wrist area, trying to stay in the ball game.
Yeah, he says to T.J. Holloman, get out of the way. I'm not leaving. Don't tell anybody I'm hurt. Holloman and Moore now side by side at the linebacker role. They've been magnificent for South Carolina this season.
Looks like a little man-to-man from John Hoke, getting outside of his comfort zone here on 3rd down and 3.
Option pitch. Trey Carson has the first down.
What a perfect call by Jake Spavital. You see the linebackers creep inside once again. Now you're just building a wall. He's optioning off Lewis, the defensive end. Once he takes the quarterback, it's off to Trey Carson, who's already out-leveraged the defense. You got to chase him down from inside out. It's just continuously being out of position defensively against this A&M offense.
508 yards of total offense for Jake Spavital and Texas A&M. Here's James White. He picks up 3. Rico McWilliams with the stop. Overall, you pleased with the play calling today?
Oh, yeah, I mean, it seems like if in the game of chess, A&M offensively has been about two moves ahead all day, and then all of a sudden South Carolina will catch up where they force the 3 and out, and then Spavital, he looks it over, takes a little bit of pressure off his quarterback, and they line up. They don't move. They show you what's called. They've got a receiver wide open at the top. Nobody out there right now. Finally backing away.
White stutter steps behind the line, gets to midfield.
But to put a bow on my thought here, Tom, South Carolina lines up and they just stay there. So it allows you as a play caller to call the exact play against that defense. They show you no imagination. They don't move and disguise whatsoever. They line up in it and they stay there.
Yeah,
and
part of that,
you can't be wrong.
Part of that is the communication and miscommunication from earlier this season for South Carolina. They just wanted to simplify things. Maybe they've oversimplified. On 3rd and 4, Murray looks over the middle, pulls it back, and gets sacked for the first time today. Darius English, who lost to 10.
Just trust your eyes. He had Reynolds open. Just go ahead and give him the football. I think it's Noyle at the top that was open as well. Just get right there. The first hitch. Reynolds was open. He saw him and may have gotten blinded a little bit by Darius English, the true freshman, or the redshirt junior out of Powder Springs, Georgia. They have flashed right in front of him and didn't allow him to see Reynolds.
Terrible punt. I don't think South Carolina got a piece of it, but it was a little bit rushed by Kaiser. He ends up on his backside trying to sell it and get a roughing the punter flag. No flag on the field. 15-yard punt. So after the sack, then the misfired punt, South Carolina is going to have great field position. Nope, nothing there. South Carolina on offense with a chance to tie it.
By Allstate, proud supporters of college football. Are you in good hands?
Happy Halloween, everybody. I'm thinking if I get a ride in the swag copter, I'll go as Kevin Sumlin. Now that is utterly ridiculous.
That's some pretty creative costumes. There you go, Pac-Man. Pharoh Cooper.
Walker.
Got to find him. Only touched it 6 times, 2 rushes, 4 catches for a total of 38 yards.
And not once have they put him in the Wildcat. No. David Williams loses a yard.
If you're going to win this football game, your best playmaker, number 11, Pharoh Cooper, has to touch the football. As I mentioned, only 6 touches today for 38 total yards. 4 receptions, 22 of that. But he's got to touch the football.
Perry Orth has hit on 70% of his passes today. Pressure coming from the edge. They pick it up over the middle. Deflected on the last second by Justin Evans.
Excellent play by Evans. He is a tremendous safety and an eraser, was how Chavis described he and Armani Watts, guys that when it breaks down in front of them, they fix it on the back end.
They've gone to the unexpected on 3rd down on multiple occasions today.
Got to hurry to get this play off.
Orth goes to the crossing route. Boom! Devontae Harris almost cut David Williams in half. Gain of 4 when they needed 11.
You see here just waiting it out. He run an option route with Williams, and he crosses back in front of Perry Orth, but waiting right there on that side of the field was Devontae Harris. Came in here as a skinny player out of high school. Now up over about 185 pounds. He looks every bit the part of a corner.
So they punted it away with 12.5 to go. Now with 6.5 to go, they look to do the same. facing a 4th and 8. Kirk, fair catch. 6:27 remaining here at Kyle. Rumor has it it's Halloween. I don't know if that's a fake one for Luigi there. That's a solid lip sweater.
How about Spider-Man chilling in the back?
That's right, just hanging out. There he is. A&M leads South Carolina by a touchdown. Happy bananas. And Kyler Murray and the A&M offense back on the field. So we kind of covered the Kyle Allen thing earlier. All indicators are that he's injured. We see what's left for A&M. They get Auburn next, and then Western Carolina should be a breather before closing at Vandy and at LSU. I guess the question going forward for this team, once and if Kyle Allen is healthy, then what do they do at quarterback? To the slant, deflected, nearly picked. Trying to get it to Kirk. TJ Gurley was there. And if Kyle Allen misses more time, what kind of progressions can Kyler Murray make and improve from week to week?
I know this. You don't want to stay hurt too long if that's the case. And why Kyler Murray got an opportunity today, because he is showing some flashes of greatness. And this is just about as flawless a performance as you could get. And he's electric. Not just running the ball, but throwing it as well. That's the closest he's come to turning the ball over today in the passing game. That last play.
On 2nd and 10, he finds Ricky Seals-Jones. You made the comment when we were talking about him after practice yesterday. Coaches won't do the comparison, but you did with Johnny Manziel, and you think he's ahead of where Johnny football was.
At this point in their development, Johnny Manziel as a true freshman was a redshirt. This kid has won a lot of football games, as Johnny did in high school, but I don't know that Johnny's as electric running the football as this kid. And I know for a fact, spinning it and watching it come off his hand, he's a much more developed passer at this point.
Johnny spent a year on the scout team playing RG3, giving the A&M defense some looks. He had an extra year of development. A little bit behind Reynolds as he turns it upfield. And he picks up nearly 9 on that first down catch.
When you watch it, and I mentioned it earlier, talking to receivers, how the ball's coming out. It is humming, but it's easy to catch. It's not a heavy ball.
Maybe a gain of 1. That will leave 3rd and short as James White gets the carry. And then the next step, they're going to credit him with a first down on the spot. The next step of the evolution then is comes at you from both ways. Both Kyler Murray getting better as a player and Jake Spavital adding more to the playbook.
Yeah, that's what comes with it. The ability, to not have to look over to the sideline all the time during the game. That'll allow you to go faster. And once you get comfortable doing that, look out. Where it's what I feel, what I can get to. Here are 2 plays. Go to the line of scrimmage and choose one.
Murray will keep it. And he's safe at 2nd with another 8-yard run.
I like that. Protect yourself. Don't take a shot unnecessarily. Get down, protect yourself. Come on back and fight the next play. Boy, he's just so quick. Woo! Trying to work some of this clock and not allow South Carolina maybe another possession in this ball game.
First down catch by Speedy Noyle. Noyle only 3 catches the last 4 games. He's been bothered by injuries. Finally back to 100%.
One of the few times they have a free rusher in the face of Kyler Murray, stood right there and delivered it to Speedy Noyle. Cool, calm, and composed.
538 yards of offense. They came in 95th in the country in rushing. 315 yards on the ground.
Yeah.
And add maybe 5 more to it.
2 high safeties, 4-1 front. And just inviting you to run the football, whether it's quarterback draw or straight ahead handoff. It's simple. I mean, at this point, you just turn it over to the offensive line. This is how South Carolina is going to choose to play defense. They're going to have a hard time going forward to stop opponents from running the football. You got to get some help in there. Some A-gap blitzers at times. Some guys coming off the edge. But to just sit in there with four men up front and a couple of linebackers, it's easy to block it up.
Murray changes direction on the option. Sprints his way to a first down and a flag coming in. That was designed to go to the right side with Trey Carson.
Yeah, they may have gotten Noel with a hole on the at the top of the screen. But that's the athletic ability. And he's a fixer himself. Talk about erasers. A mistake and finally called a play in which South Carolina stunts the defensive line to the side of the play.
Offense, number 2, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay second down.
Keep an eye up top on Speedy Noel right there. Shoulder pad maybe, little jersey. And run him out of bounds. Rico McWilliams is wondering when's he going to pull off.
Speedy's dressed as Macho Man Savage for Halloween.
He had a nice takedown. Yeah, no hurry. Right now, just letting the clock tick away.
His quarterback, Kyler Murray, first A&M quarterback with a 200-yard passing game, 100-yard running game since the 2013 Sugar Bowl, and Johnny Manziel. Manziel did it twice in his career. .222 to go in the fourth quarter. 18-year-old Kyler Murray making his debut as a starting quarterback for Texas A&M, and it has been nothing short of magnificent.
Yeah, he's done it with his arm, he's done it with his legs, shown us touch, shown us when he's needed to drill it, but been perfect in their option game. It's what South Carolina's willing to give him, and he's protected the football all game long. What a dynamic player Kyler Murray is and will be going forward for Texas A&M.
20 of 28 through the air, 20 carries for 156 yards and a touchdown on the ground. 0 turnovers. And now they face a key 3rd and 7. South Carolina 2 timeouts remaining. If they want an opportunity, they need to stop here. Option. Late pitch to Carson. Carson gets swallowed up. Maybe got a yard. Sky Moore with 13 tackles today, able to bring him down. They lose 2 yards.
And they're going to earn it with this punter Kaiser, as good as he is. Nice job here by Sky Moore, as well as Marquavius Lewis, the defensive end, forcing Kyler Murray to pitch it, and then they've got support help and leverage from outside in.
As good as Kaiser is, he's been inconsistent. Farrell Cooper stands at the 10. He had a 15-yarder earlier this half. He also had a 71-yarder.
If there's anybody that can break this thing open, number 11 on the back end can do it.
Great kick. Cooper won't have a chance for a return. A&M can't get to it. So with 1:28 remaining, South Carolina trails by a touchdown. Sean Elliott 1-0 as the interim head coach since taking over for Steve Spurrier, gathers his troops.
Yeah, a lot of time went off that clock. I may have thought about taking a timeout if I was Sean Elliott.
Reminder that everyone's favorite SEC expert, Paul Feinbaum, has his talk show every weekday at 3 Always some controversy. Check out the Feinbaum Show weekdays at 3 Eastern on the SEC Network.
You need the time, not the timeouts. The clock's going to stop with first downs, and if you're going to get back in this game, you're going to put together a couple of first downs.
4-man rush. Oh, it gets dropped. Loss of 4.
Number one rule, Tom, in the 2-minute drill is what? Don't take a sack. If you're the quarterback trying to put something together to win the game, you can't take a sack. And they do decide to spend a timeout. Obvious passing situations. You're going to have Garrett as well as Deshaun Hall coming ears pinned back, coming after Perry Orth.
Noel Ellis credited with the sack with 1:22 to go. South Carolina down to its final timeout now.
Well, that's the one thing that Sean Elliott needed to stress to Perry Orth. Get rid of the football. Throw it. Get outside the tackle box if you can. Throw it a mile into the stands. Come back on second down. But the lost yardage as well as the time, you can't get back.
G.A. Mangus in the center of that huddle, frustrated that his quarterback took the sack. Pharoh Cooper, 4 catches for 22 yards.
I'm just kind of amazed at that, because when we talked to the South Carolina coaches this week, there was an emphasis on how big of a player he was going to be in the game plan, how they wanted to get him the football and needed to.
Pressure coming. Ball's loose. Scooped up by David Williams to save the day for a moment. Clock rolling at 1:11. South Carolina doesn't take a timeout here. It was Garrett who forced it out.
Advantage A&M when it's obvious passing situations with these 2 defensive ends.
Orth over the middle. Couldn't find Adams in front of his tight end. 4th and 14 next.
Boy, it is loud. Always has been a loud place to play.
Pressure coming from the safety. Orth over the middle. Intercepted again. Donovan Wilson again. His 2nd pick of the day.
Such high praise from John Chavis yesterday. He talked about Donovan Wilson and how much he means to this defense. 2nd INT of the day. He just seems to make plays each and every game all over the field, and he will tattoo you when he gets an opportunity to. But watching the quarterback's eyes, forcing it into coverage, Wilson just sitting in coverage waiting.
Kyler Murray didn't lose a game as a starting quarterback in high school. He starts his A&M career in the same fashion.
It was fun to watch today. Took care of the football, which has been a problem for this A&M offense the last couple of games. Took care of his body. Got himself down when he needed to. Didn't take any big shots today, and I thought he managed the game very, very well in his first start. Did not look like a true freshman.
A&M snaps a two-game losing streak. Apparently the sky is not falling. And the Aggies, with a hug between quarterbacks, with the kind of quarterback performance they were looking for, Kevin Sumlin's team goes to 6-2. South Carolina falls to 3-5. Kyler Murray, the freshman from Allen, Texas, helps A&M to a season high 544 yards of offense. They ran for 321. Let's go down to the field. Laura Rutledge just standing by with Kevin Sumlin amongst the cannon fire.
Crazy cannon fire, Coach, but Kyler Murray got it done with his arm and his legs, and maybe more importantly, took care of the football. What was the key to his success today?
Well, he was relaxed. You know, the plan was good with him. I thought he ran smart, like we talked about at halftime. Slid, got on the ground, created, extended plays with his legs, and made plays when they were there. So didn't really force anything, and that's the big thing with a young guy. You just kind of let the game come to him, and hopefully we can still increase the offense. He's got a good feel for it, and hopefully we'll get better next week.
You mentioned his feel for the offense. After what you saw today, how would you describe your quarterback situation?
Well, I don't know. I think he played well. So, he was a starter. We practiced well all week. Like I said, it's all about getting better every week as a team, and there's more than one guy that plays in this game. We got to get better as a team. Got another SEC opponent next week, and hopefully we can get a little bit better next week and get another W.
2 picks for Donovan Wilson. How important is he to this defense?
Yeah, all he does is make plays. He's just a guy that around the ball all the time, and just a heck of an effort from him. Those 3 safeties have been playing like crazy. He's a nickel. He's everywhere, and again, he came up big.
You mentioned Auburn next week. You snapped the 2-game losing streak, and this one was tightly contested throughout. How does a tight game like this prepare you for what you'll see?
Well, you don't like them like that. First of all, we got some things to shore up defensively. We got one part fixed a little bit this week, so it's like putting a finger in the dam. We got we can play better. We got to play better. They had a bye week, showed us some new stuff. We just got to shut down and play better defense, keep our offense coming along, and be ready to try to get another win next week.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Well, the similarities between last season and this season continue. The mid-season lull perhaps lost after the debut by Kyler Murray, and hope abounds in Aggieland. Once again, our final score: Texas A&M holds on for a 35-28 victory over South Carolina. Coming up next is SEC Now, and the quarterback of right now, Kyler Murray, helping the Aggies to a